views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hi, and welcome to Open BXRx, BronxNet's special coverage providing you the latest information, resources, services, and community efforts taking place locally here in the Bronx and virtually during the pandemic. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, and today is Tuesday, March 2nd. Coming up, we'll discuss free tax preparation services and how the Earned Income Tax Credit can maximize your refund this tax season through the BronxWorks Financial Empowerment Center. Then we'll learn about changes in DACA eligibility under the Biden administration and share information on the Migrant Center NY's affordable and pro bono immigration legal services. After that, the American Dream School has been serving families in the South Bronx since 2014. We'll learn more about the school and their community work through the pandemic later on. And stay tuned to learn some healthy tips that are sure to help you lead a healthier lifestyle in the Bronx and beyond with healthy living in the Bronx. So please stick around. Open BXRx starts now. Welcome to Open BXRX on BronxNet. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, inviting you to get social with us at BronxNet TV on Instagram and Twitter, and BronxNet Community Television on Facebook. BronxWorks Financial Empowerment Center provides free tax preparation to Bronx families while seeking to maximize your tax refund this season through the Earned Income Tax Credit, or the EITC. Do you qualify? How can you get free tax preparation? Let's find out. Joining us now to share more is Karla Velasquez, Director of BronxWorks Financial Empowerment Center. Welcome, Karla. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Of course. So if you can just tell us about BronxWorks Workforce Development Department and what types of services Bronxites can get there, we would appreciate it.
So the BronxWorks Workforce Development Department has been around since 1998. Serving the community of the Bronx. So we assist with job readiness, occupational training, financial counseling, and tax assistance. We serve the NYCHA houses. We serve Murphy houses, Franchesca, Baychester, and Twin Parks. We also serve Section 8 voucher holders that's certified at 100 Gold Street, and we served non-custodial dads through the HERO program. So there's an array of services and a wide variety of programs within Workforce Development.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karla. Super important program, especially with the way unemployment rates are skyrocketing during the pandemic. And I'm sure that, a lot of that work that you're doing there is very beneficial to the community. So thank you. I wanted to learn about, of course, the New York City Free Tax Prep Program. Can you tell us a little more about the program?
So the New York City Free Tax Prep Program has been at BronxWorks for about 10 years. So we currently, over the years, we serve between 5,000 and 6,000 Bronxites to get free tax preparation services. So we currently work with the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, DCWP, Montefiore Health Systems, and the Robin Hood Foundation. Currently, we have 3 in-person sites. So one is 630 Jackson Avenue, 80 East 181st Street, and 365 4th Street. All in-person sites are by appointment only. Then we also have remote services in which you can get your taxes done for free from the comfort of your home. Or we can also have drop-off services. So if you don't want to come in, but you're not feeling technologically comfortable, you can come in, drop off your taxes, and then we communicate with you and let you know that your taxes are done. And you come in, sign, and we e-file it for you. All these services are completely free. But also, if you think you can get your taxes done for free, we have a link that we can provide for you in which you can do your taxes on your own.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you, Karla, for that information. And something that BronxWorks is educating the community about in particular is the Earned Income Tax Credit, the EITC. What exactly is it and who qualifies for it? And how much can someone expect to get back on average through that credit?
So the Earned Income Tax Credit is a refundable credit that clients can get, meaning that it comes as part of your tax refund, right? So there's an income limit and an income qualification in order for people to get it. So it can be from a single person to a couple married with like up to 3 children. So if you're a single person making up to like $15,800, you can get about $538 on EITC. Right? But if you're married, filing jointly with 3 children, you can get up to like $6,650 on EITC credit. So given the circumstances, given COVID and unemployment, this is something huge that our community needs to take advantage of, right? So it is additional income that you can budget. And if you need assistance budgeting, we have financial counseling right here.
Yes, it's a one-stop shop over at BronxWorks.
It's a one-stop shop. It is.
Something that I also wanted to learn, Karla, is how is BronxWorks ensuring the safety of the community while handling tax preparation season during the pandemic in person?
Again, right? So normally we take walk-ins, not this time around. Everyone must come in, must have an appointment. And we are separating the appointments between 45 minutes and an hour. And we're limiting the number of appointments. When you come into any of our sites, your temperature gets taken. We have health assessments. We have hand sanitizers, gloves, mask is required for every person that comes in, not just a mask, but you got to cover your mouth and you got to cover your nose, right? And if you don't have one, we provide one for you. So we are taking the necessary precautions. We have plexiglass between the tax preparer and the tax filer in order to get, as much protection, not just for the community, but also for the staff working for BronxWorks.
Wonderful. And something new on this year's taxes, Karla, is the stimulus check question, the rebate. I forgot the name. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that and who it will apply for?
So the rebate, we've had quite a few people in the community that they never received either the $1,200 back in April or the $600 at the end of the year, beginning of this year, right? So there's the question of whether or not if you received it, so we can file your taxes and then basically let the IRS know that you did not receive your rebate, or maybe you didn't receive it for one of your children. So you only received the $1,200 back in May and you have a child, so you needed to receive $1,700. So you can claim that extra $500 that you did not receive back in May or April, right? Or in the $600 if you didn't get the additional for any of your dependents, right? And another thing is, if we get the $1,400 that is in the House and the Senate, right? You got to file taxes in order for them to know that you are eligible for this stimulus. And only that, and the big thing about it now, it is any dependent, right? So that's what the Senate and the House is trying to pass. It's not just up to 17 years old. It's any dependent on your taxes. You will qualify to get the additional $1,400. So it's important for New Yorkers to know that, Bronx sites to know that they can come to a place where they can file their taxes completely free and they will qualify for the stimulus.
Got it. That is very important to emphasize. And, by any dependent, we mean like a qualifying relative. Let's say my brother is over 18 years old and he lost his job. Can I claim him on my taxes because I've taken care of him?
Exactly. That's exactly it. So the proposal in the House and the Senate is like, as long as you have a dependent, meaning any age, any relative, you will get the stimulus for that particular person.
Got it. Okay. And Karla, another question about the receiving the stimulus. If you claim it on your taxes, will you get it together bundled with your refund at the end?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay. So when you file your taxes and you say you're missing the $1,200 and you are entitled of a refund of $2,000, but it appears as $3,200, $1,200 of that is the stimulus that you did not receive back in April.
Got it. So a lot of folks are going to be like, whoa, my refund is higher this year, but it's actually because of the stimulus. If you didn't get
but we are explaining that to everyone. Remember, this is a part of the stimulus is included in your refund.
Yes.
So we are making sure that everybody not, next year, they're not thinking, oh, but I got $3,200 last year, so what happened? But another thing is that is important this year is for people to bring their 2019 taxes, right? Because if your income on 2020 was less than 2019, the government is taking into consideration the earned income from 2019 in order for you to qualify for the EITC. So that's very important.
Okay. And just about the importance of maximizing these refunds, especially during the pandemic where so many Bronxites have been affected financially, Karla, if you can just tell us about that.
So, our clients are using the refund, to catch up with rent. There's been a lot of food insecurity in our community. So that's very important. That's where people are saying, let me go buy enough food to have in my house, right? You need to pay for internet, right? Because our children are learning from home and they need access to internet. And if they don't have that, it's proven that our children are falling behind between 2 to 4 years because of the education that they're receiving right now. So all this, the monies that are coming are helping our community. Not only that, it recycles back into our community, helping maintain, the supermarkets open, or the stores, like the mama and papa stores down the block that are closing because there hasn't been enough business.
And if we can just go through a checklist of items that folks need in order to get their taxes done, can you give us that? I know you mentioned the 2019 tax return, but what else do people need?
So they need their identification, they need their social security card, they need their social security card for any dependents that they might be claiming on their tax return. They need any proof of income, meaning a W-2, a 1099 miscellaneous, or if they are self-employed, you need to break your breakdown of what your business made and what your expenses were, right? You need, if you only receive Social Security income, then you need that Social Security statement stating how much you received the previous year. So just any proof of income that you may have, just that's what you need to bring.
And another thing, is there a salary cap for people who are eligible for free tax preparation services, or is anyone?
Yes. No. So for a single person, the salary cap is $48,000. For a person with dependents or a married couple filing jointly, is $68,000. But again, we have that link. We have a link available for clients that make over that income limit that we can provide to them in order for them to get their taxes done for free.
Perfect. Karla, before we go, how can people reach out to BronxWorks Workforce Development for more information and to make an appointment at this time?
So you can reach out to taxes@bronxworks.org through email. You can also reach out at 718-993-8880 to the BronxWorks office, Workforce Development Office, or you can reach out to me at Velasquez@bronxworks.org.
Thank you, Karla, so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Karla Velasquez is the director at BronxWorks Financial Empowerment Center. Open BXRx will be right back.
We know that people are dealing with the health crisis, but there's also a lot of food insecurity.
We're giving out healthy food options, and that's what's key here.
If you're a senior, you have a disability, they'll actually deliver meals to you.
The residents are anxious, they're worried, they're scared, they want to be tested.
When things were happening in our community and we couldn't get the help.
There's almost a presumption of criminality that attaches to your skin color.
The site will prioritize those who are at highest risk in the population.
If you feel symptoms and you'd like to visit one of these COVID-19 testing sites here in the Bronx, you may call the State Health Department's hotline.
Important to note about this site is no reservations are needed. This is a walk-in clinic.
A lot of us are out of work and looking for something to do.
We have the machinery and the skills to make large scales of these masks and gowns.
Take care of your people. It's going to go way further than we actually can understand.
Right now, employees like myself are just adjusting to the new reality.
Reporting from BronxNet,
It's the city's first ever 10-year food plan passed in the New York City Council last year. Food Forward NYC, now signed into law by Mayor Bill de Blasio, seeks to bring equity and sustainability to food.
This was a bill that I introduced back in 2019, along with legislation led by the Speaker, focused on food equity, focused on farming and urban agriculture and green, gardening and, making sure that we have access to healthy food for all New Yorkers.
Here at Dreiser Loop in Co-op City, Councilmember Vanessa Gibson handed out boxes filled with fresh produce, dairy, and more from Agatha's House, which donates to Dreiser Loop weekly.
God bless them. because there's a lot of people that can use the food. I think we were awakened by this pandemic of the alarming rates of food scarcity and food insecurity in communities of color across the city of New York.
There used to be seniors online. Now we're seeing younger people and families because more and more people are getting laid off.
All this pointing to the urgency for a comprehensive plan addressing food shortages.
We have 15,000 units of housing, so 300 to 600 sounds like a lot, but each week it's just a drop in the bucket.
At the start of the city's shutdown last year, Get Food NYC was launched, feeding more than 200 million. The mayor shared Food Forward will go further. In his press release, the mayor states, and I'm quoting here, this 10-year food plan builds on top of this emergency effort and centers racial and economic justice in our food system in the long term. The 47-page report is organized around 5 goals, which include ensuring all New Yorkers have multiple ways to access food, that it drives the economy and provides good jobs, and that the supply chain is modern and efficient. For a full copy, go to nyc.gov. 300 boxes of food gone in less than an hour, showing during a pandemic some of the food insecurities happening right here in Co-op City. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Welcome back to Open BXRx. The Migrant Center NY provides affordable and pro bono immigration services to New Yorkers in need. Now here to discuss immigration under the Biden administration, DACA, and provide immigration resources and services is Father Julian Jagudilla, Executive Director of the Migrant Center NY. Father Julian, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me today.
Of course, absolutely. So first, please tell us about the Migrant Center of New York and your mission.
Okay. The Migrant Center of New York actually started as a ministry of the church to provide assistance to our immigrant brothers and sisters. So we started way back in 1999 under a different name, but under my leadership in 2013, we rebranded and we renamed and we expanded our services for the Migrant Center. But we continued the same tradition of welcoming people, regardless of their, ethnic origin or religion, to the center, and we provide the same services for them. That is, free or affordable legal assistance, education, and advocacy.
Wonderful. And what are some of those specific services and resources that you've been able to provide the immigrant community, especially during the pandemic that we're in?
So we provide immigration assistance that is in the form of representation by our lawyers here. Affordable in a sense, and I think that's a very important term that we have to emphasize to our friends, is that affordable means we base the charges on the person's income. If the person is coming from the shelters, we normally provide a pro bono service. But we want people to be part of the solution of their situation by, providing something for themselves in the form of a very affordable, low bono services or fees. And we do representation through our volunteer lawyers. Education, because we saw that it's not enough to provide services. Right. It is also very important that we raise, the immigrants and the public's level of awareness as to what's going on in the country, especially with the immigration laws of the U.S. that we're dealing with. Right. Sometimes, or most of the time, it's not friendly. It's not friendly to immigrants. And of course, we advocate for the rights and welfare of immigrants across the board.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Father. And just as a side note, these services are offered in many languages, or is it just
primarily for now? We offer services in English, Spanish, and in French or Creole.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. And with changes in this administration, a lot of people can now apply for the first time for DACA. Father, can you share what this means for the community and how the Migrant Center can help through your DACA campaign?
Okay, we have 2 things to be clear here. Number 1, we offer free legal assistance. What is that? That is, we provide free consultation with our lawyers. So the campaign is developing, and we're looking for funding and possibly offer 100% total assistance to dreamers. So our assistance comes in a form of renewal for those who are already holding DACA, and for the first time applications. So we offer free legal consultation with our lawyers. That's the first stage of the campaign. Now we're hoping to develop further and really help them through the process.
Got it. And can you also tell us about your 40-hour immigration course? What does it entail exactly, and how can people sign up?
Okay, I have a flyer. I hope you'll see the flyer. To sign up, email us or call us at the Migrant Center. The way I would describe the U.S. immigration laws, it's like an ever-changing landscape. It depends on those in power or the administration. We saw a drastic change during the time of the Obama administration, and then we saw another dramatic change during the time of the Trump administration. Now with Biden, we have so much promise here, but it's very important that we have a basic understanding of the immigration laws so that we can truly advocate for the rights and welfare of immigrants. So it is a 14 Tuesday, 2-hour each session, online course on immigration taught by a supervising lawyer of the Legal Aid Society. And it's very good, it's very effective, it's very clear. He's a great teacher, and we've had him for almost, I should say, 8 classes now.
Father, are these courses being offered in person or virtually?
It's an online virtual classes.
Okay. And if you can share some of the other courses that the Migrant Center NY offers as well for anyone listening now and interested in inquiring about more.
Okay. One of the things that we tried is to bring the Migrant Center to the consciousness of the public. And one of the things that we did in the past, which we discontinued this year, we're actually entering our, I believe, 8th year. We used to have an international an independent film festival.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And of course, before the pandemic, we had it every year. We were about to enter our 8th year of the film festival. The focus of the film festival was human rights. And we saw that migration is a human right. So all the themes and the subject of our films shown during the film festival is about human rights, about people's right to migrate. So we had that for the past 7 years, but because of the pandemic, we couldn't hold it this year. We also celebrate major events such as, International Day for Migrant Workers. We also celebrate the International Human Rights Day. We celebrate Migrants Day. Whatever I would say topics or major celebrations that we have here, we would have an event here for the sole purpose of raising the public's awareness of these topics.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And we're also glad to have you here with us, sharing with our Bronxites the importance of, staying informed and educated on all these things. A lot of times the information can be a lot for folks, and they need the assistance and the services that you offer. So thank you.
And if you are willing to partner with us, we're planning to hold a series of session on an info session on the Biden's immigration reform. What happened was that immediately, the weekend right after Joe Biden was inaugurated as president, I was inundated with phone calls, texts, emails from our undocumented or out of status immigrant brothers and sisters saying, do I qualify now? So there is, number one, we have to recognize that there is a need. People are excited. This might sound negative, but this is true. People who are out of status are desperate. Number one is to find, a job, a legitimate job with a livable salary.
Right.
they've been here in this country for a long time. Some of them 15, 25, 30 years. They haven't seen their loved ones. They cannot go home. So hopefully there's a pathway to citizenship for them or to become legal here. But here's one thing that we have to be careful. Because of the excitement, because of the desire to have a legal stay in this country, they will seek all avenues of information.
Right.
And sometimes they become victims of notarial fraud. I have seen that, I have heard that. When I went out into the communities to organize, people are saying, well, this person took my money and I haven't heard from him anymore. This person asked me took my money saying that he's going to apply for asylum for me and now he couldn't be found. Remember, our immigrant brothers and sisters who are out of status are working 2-3 jobs to survive. And I think it's sinful and immoral for somebody to take advantage of them. The only way we can do is to empower them, to know their rights, and to help protect them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Father, for sharing that. It is true that fraud is at an all-time high, especially during the pandemic as well. People are not only desperate for information, but also financially, there's a high unemployment rate and folks are struggling right now. So it's a very sad and scary situation, but I'm glad that people can count on the Migrant Center to provide honest and trustworthy services.
Yeah. What we encourage our brothers and sisters who are without status now is you need to connect with legitimate organizations that we can give them, sure information. So people who got in touch with me and with us, I said, hold off a little bit, wait a while. We're going to have an info session on this proposed immigration reform or bill, so that you would know what's coming, and you would know what would benefit you, and you would hear it from a trusted source.
Right. Well, we love to partner with the Migrant Center to make this happen. I'm going to keep in touch, and we're going to keep our viewers in touch as well. Thank you, Father. Before we go, folks are listening and they're anticipating you to share information. So can you just share how people can stay in touch with the Migrant Center and provide any numbers or emails and contact information?
Our number here at the Migrant Center, it's 212-736-8500, extension 305 or 377. We are located at the Church of St. Francis of Assisi in Midtown Manhattan. The address is 135 West 31st Street. We're between 6th and 7th Avenues in Manhattan, New York City. We are accessible to all train lines and public transportation. Our email address is migrantcenter@stfrancisnyc.org.
Thank you so very much, Father Julian, for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to talk to you.
A great pleasure. Thank you again. Father Julian Jagudilla is the Executive Director of the Migrant Center NY. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back here on Open BXRx.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at BronxNet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Welcome back. Since 2014, the American Dream School has been a charter school located in the South Bronx, providing dual language, project-based learning in a culturally responsive environment. Joining us now to share more and invite you to a panel discussion to learn more about ADS and their work in the community throughout the pandemic is Melissa Melkonian, founder of the American Dream School. Welcome, Melissa. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. So first, for those who are not familiar, can you just tell us a little bit about the American Dream School and your school's mission?
Absolutely. So in 2014, I founded the American Dream School, which originally was a dual language charter middle school in the South Bronx, in the Mott Haven section of the Bronx. And the school's mission was to educate primarily the immigrant population to be able to teach students in two languages. A lot of the students in the South Bronx are either immigrants or children of immigrants, and there were a lot of language barriers seen in regards to academic performance. And so the school was founded with the idea that students who are from immigrant families come to us with a wealth of knowledge. They just come to us with that knowledge in a different language. And so for us, it's an asset for our program, because these are not empty vessels. These are actually very knowledgeable students who want to thrive just like any other student. And so we took that and we created a school, designed a school where we take the language and just help students develop their English language skills by supporting the expansion of their Spanish language skills. And so a lot of the work that we do at American Dream involves project-based learning, as you mentioned, which helps students navigate their language development. We are very proud to say that we have since grown from only a 6th grade class through a 6th through 12th class. This is the first year that we have our graduating seniors. And it's a big year, right? It's our triple first, as we call them. They're first to graduate American Dream, first generation Americans, and first in their families to go to college.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing, Melissa, and congratulations to all the first graduates.
Yes,
of the
thank
American
you.
Dream School. That's amazing. And Melissa, how has your personal experience shaped your decision to open this school? You have a story to tell as well.
I do have a story. So I am the daughter of once undocumented Mexican immigrants. My parents are from Mexico. They moved to Texas. I grew up in the border town of El Paso and Ciudad Juarez. And so growing up, I was an English language learner as well. And English for me was actually a very difficult thing to grasp. It was not until around 5th grade where I started to actually learn English. All of my classes were in Spanish, and just trying to navigate the complexities of language development was very difficult for me. And so thinking back with my own personal experience of just learning the language, but also in addition to that, like thinking about how my own parents interacted with school, with my school, like they would not attend my parent-teacher conferences. They were almost not a part of that educational experience for me. Right. And so when designing a school, that was not their fault. I was very well aware that that's not their fault. I more saw that as something that I wanted to do differently at American Dream, and make sure that as we design the school, it's something where families are welcomed, right? We welcome our families. We speak Spanish to our families. We welcome them with open arms. We provide services for them. We're not just there for the students, but we're also there for our families. And it's really, really important for me that the entire American Dream experience is felt by everybody, because it's triangulated. We have the parents, we have the teachers, we have our students. And if there's one of those pieces that's missing, we're not going to be very successful. So that was also part of just taking a little bit of my experience and shaping that into what is.
Thank you for sharing. And why was it important that ADS be in the South Bronx in particular, Melissa? Why was that important?
So I've been in education now for 17 years, and the South Bronx spoke out to me because it is the poorest congressional district in the United States. And it's also the lowest performing district when we look at it academically. Narrowing down to the South Bronx, I did some research and I found that the South Bronx had a really high dropout rate of students of first generation American students born to immigrant families who are dropping out of high school for various reasons. We also have a lot of Spanish isolated homes in the South Bronx, which means that there are families who don't speak any English. About 80% of those families in the South Bronx are Spanish isolated households. And there just seem to be so many barriers and clear explanations as to why students are not performing academically. And for me, I saw that as an opportunity to be able to break down those barriers, beginning with the language. The language should not be a barrier at all, because as I mentioned earlier, it's an asset. And so I wanted to almost prove that students who are bilingual and bicultural are actually more than capable of achieving everything that is put out for them. They just need that opportunity.
That is absolutely true. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. Bilingualism opens so many doors for our kids, especially here in the Bronx, to empower themselves and also obtain greater careers after school. So that is a wonderful, idea and a wonderful initiative that you have there in the school. I'm curious to learn, with tech inequities and the digital divide affecting so many students, Melissa, in our borough, how has ADS managed through remote learning during the pandemic? Have there been any challenges?
Of course, there's been challenges. I think one of the things that we have going for us is that prior to the pandemic, our school was a one-to-one Chromebook school. So all of our students, even before the pandemic, were issued a Chromebook. And we had already, 7 years ago, we started closing that digital inequity and digital divide or gap, right? Because there was like this forethought of like, we need to make sure our students are global citizens, and that includes technology. We need to make our students be able to navigate Google Classroom, turn in, type things online, be able to communicate with and interact via email. So we've been doing a lot of this work from day one. And so when the pandemic hit, for us, we had a leg up in that our students had devices and had working knowledge of how to interact with those devices. The one thing that did impact us was the internet connection. So a lot of families did not have working Wi-Fi or internet connections. And for that, we were able to secure hotspots. We got a couple of grants where we purchased hotspots for families and delivered those. And so we've assessed and reassessed and continue to assess our family situation to make sure that students are logging on. And if they're not, we kind of dig deeper to see what the issue is. If it's a broken computer, we'll replace it. If it's a internet, we'll give them a hotspot. So we've addressed all of those issues.
Got it. Another issue facing the Bronx, and especially during the pandemic, but even before, is food insecurity. Melissa, you will be a panelist at an upcoming event highlighting how ADS has served the community by feeding the hearts, minds, and stomachs of NYC's immigrants. Can you tell us more about this event and how the school has also contributed to the community in this way?
Absolutely. So, we have a couple of sixth grade teachers on our team here, and it was Senor Zauderer. He was interacting with students, and he realized that there was food insecurity at home, right? So in communicating during the pandemic, he learned that a few of our students had these food insecurities. And so through that initiative, realization, he started an initiative. He started his own personal birthday fundraiser where he raised money to be able to purchase food for families. That was done in April. And then that just kind of snowballed into creating community fridges. So he and his colleague founded 2 community refrigerators that are right outside our school building, one on 141st Street and one on 139th Street, where they are open 24/7. He's able to partner with local distributors who give food, and they stock up the food with plenty of, milk, cheese, meats, fruits, vegetables, canned goods, dried goods. And so he also occasionally will let the school know that there are food boxes being delivered. And so we'll set up outside of the school to distribute boxes of food for our own families, because the pandemic has hit our population really hard. We have a lot of service industry families who have lost their jobs to, in the restaurant business. And so it has not been easy. And I think for our families, there's this gratitude towards a school because, as I mentioned earlier, we're not just a school for students, we're a school for everybody.
I love how, the teachers over at ADS go above and beyond for their families, beyond the learning and also, helping in the community. Before we go, Melissa, can you please invite our viewers to this panel event so that folks can join you here in the Bronx on that panel event with Pix 11?
Absolutely. So on March 3rd, we're going to have a panel event where we're going to have the New Yorkers, Jonathan Blitzer. We're going to have Tacombi's Susana Camarena. I will be a panelist, and it's going to be moderated by Monica Morales from Pix 11, where we are going to discuss how the three of us in our organizations have fed our minds, stomachs, and hearts for our immigrant population. It is a panel that's going to be dynamic, informative, and educational. And I definitely invite you all to come out. It's bound to change your life and perspective.
And it's going to be virtual, right? For anyone worried.
All virtual, all via Zoom, free. Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Before we go as well, how can people stay in touch with ADS and also learn more about the school?
Absolutely. So please visit our website, www.theamericandreamschool.org. And you can interact with the website. There is a button under the news section where you can sign up for our monthly newsletters. There are a couple of icons where you can volunteer to just stay in touch, do some volunteer work, or send me a direct email. But please visit our website, www.theamericandreamschool.org.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Melissa Melkonian is the founder of the American Dream School, a school located in the South Bronx. We'll be right back with Open BXRx.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people, avoid crowds, stay home if you can, wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
A father.
I love daddy. I love my daddy.
A husband.
Fred was just a humble, creative, loving man that wanted to bring his community up.
A friend.
And he always had a joke, and he always made you laugh, and he just made everyone feel like they were family.
A crowd gathered for the unveiling of the street co-naming in honor of rapper Fred the Godson.
Today's just a special day because, Fred dedicated his life to his community, to his art, but also uplifting the Bronx, the South Bronx. And, I'm proud.
Fred the Godson passed away on April 23rd, 2020 after battling COVID-19, but his legacy lives on through his music.
It's a cutthroat world, and especially in the tri-state, New York, New Jersey, everyone's, vying for that top spot. But with Fred, he was just such a star and such a talent that he didn't have a problem shining light on other people.
And through the people he touched during his life.
He was already great, so he didn't just want him to be great. He wanted everyone that he loved and all the people around him to be great. And, he's one of the realest people I know I'll ever meet in life.
A celebration of his life.
What a beautiful guy, what a beautiful soul, man. I miss him every day.
And lyrics to forever remember him by.
This man manifested his dreams through hip-hop culture by writing songs. This man studied and mastered the language so well, he became easily one of the most admired writers in the rap game, period. No one wrote more clever and hilarious similes and metaphors like Fred the Godson.
Friends and family gathered here today to remember Fred the Godson on his birthday, February 22nd, and they will continue to remember their legend as they gather here on the corner of Kelly Street and Leggett Avenue, which is now named for Fred the Godson. Reporting for BronxNet, Jericho Tran.
Welcome back. Our next guest created a platform to highlight people and brands promoting a healthier lifestyle here in the Bronx. The platform transforms from a homegrown award-winning show here on BronxNet to an accessible space for all things health on social media. Here to share more is Mary Van Rose, founder of Healthy Living in the Bronx and Beyond. Welcome, Mary. Thank you for joining us.
It's so good to see your face.
It's so good to see your face too. I always see you on social media, but now we're seeing each other live action.
Pandemic.
Oh, yo,
make the best out of it, right?
Yes, absolutely. So listen, Mary, I said a little bit about your show, about your platform up on top, but can you tell us a little bit more about Healthy Living in the Bronx and your mission with this platform?
So as you mentioned, we were actually a show, Healthy Living in the Bronx. We are no longer Healthy Living in the Bronx. We are now Healthy Living Bronx and Beyond. The Beyond comes into the point that we are now digital, right? Like we have this digital platform and we started off on Instagram and we're actually constructing our website and we are now moving into a storytelling space still. We still provide stories, but we're also going to be providing realistic and practical resources and tools for people on their wellness journey.
I love that. And what inspired you, Mary, to promote health and wellness here in the Bronx in particular?
So as you know, the Bronx is, out of the 62 counties in New York State, is deemed number 62 in terms of its being the most unhealthiest. Being born and raised in the Bronx, I have a really strong passion of really changing the narrative of how people view Bronx residents. This misconception that we don't want to be healthy is just wrong. It's lack of resources and education. And going back to our main mission with Healthy Living Bronx and Beyond, is really we're bringing realness to wellness. I think that's so key. I think sometimes when you see like wellness magazines or you watch wellness talk shows, they don't look like us, they don't sound like us. You be seeing their 15-step morning routine. You're like, I'm just trying to get my coffee and go to work. Like all that sounds good if you're a professional, like whatever they do, but that doesn't really affect us or doesn't really feel realistic or tangible to us. So I think with our platform, we are giving realistic tools to help people and guide people on their wellness journey.
I love that. And I think that quote sounds like a shirt, realness to wellness. I really love that.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see it someday.
Yeah, you will be seeing some stuff on the new launch.
I can't wait. So Mary, what would you say that health means to you? And what self-care activities does it entail for you? And is it the same for everybody?
That is such a loaded question. You're such a good question asker. Because health, I think people think that health is a matter of opinion, right? Health is really just its metrics. Like I stay away from words like unhealthy and healthy. To me, health is just it's a spectrum, and it's multiple categories. So you have your physical health, you have your mental health, your spiritual health, etc. And health is just the measurement. So for example, how healthy is your heart? Not how unhealthy it is. How healthy is it? So the way we measure that is like your heart rate. How well is your mental health? By meaning like when you get stressed, what happens to your body physically? How well do you handle it? Do you stop eating? Do you stop sleeping? All those things are health. It's literally just the metric. It's the state of being, like how healthy or not healthy, how healthy is something. Versus let's say wellness. What people don't understand, wellness is actually the lifestyle which impacts your health. So for me, I look at my health from a holistic standpoint, from top to bottom. How is my mental health? How is my physical health? How is my spiritual health? Because they're all interconnected together. And that's what I also love about our platform is that we actually focus on nutrition. I think people have been loving that, but that's actually like the smaller scale. I would say that's 20% of what we talk about. We focus more on the mental and emotional health of people of color. So so for me, what does that look like? It looks like the things I actually don't want to do, like go to the doctor. It means make sure I have the right amount of sleep. I'm drinking my water and not making excuses as into why I can't drink it. So for me, health and self-care is not like I get my nails done or do my hair, but for me, it's really doing the things that I know is going to make me feel good, even though I may not want to do it.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes without saying, Mary, that this pandemic has forced a lot of us to take care of ourselves more and focus more on the health that maybe we weren't paying attention to before, and those other factors of health. How has your outreach and focus changed due to the new reality with COVID-19?
It's honestly, I think this is actually why what we do is so important. It's just driving the mission further, because I think so many people think that now is not the time to take care of themselves, right? Because I think when it first happened, the pandemic first happened, people automatically went into panic mode of how to like just survive. And I want to give people, not to say that they need my reassurance or like my validation, but it's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay if I remember like you saw it on social media, it was like, oh, if you don't come out of this pandemic with like 3 new degrees and 5 side hustles, then you ain't doing it right. And it's like, no, this is actually the perfect time to learn how to put, practices and habits and rituals and routines in place to take care of yourself. So when we get back to whatever our new normal is, you now have things in place and tools in place to deal with your life. And being practical about that. Like something, I've strived for is people, how can I talk to you about drinking more water if you can't stop drinking 2 liters of soda? And understanding like why those things, why are you craving that? Like all that stuff I think is super important. So for me, it's just driving our mission further to really have people have practical, realistic, build upon, steps to really take care of themselves.
I think that it's a commendable way to use social media. So thank you, Mary, for, making your platform in this way and accessible to so many people in the Bronx and beyond now.
Yes.
So Mary, something else that you do is you share many amazing resources and tips on social media. With that being said, can you give us some medicinal foods to add to our diets and what they're good for? You're really great at this part.
So actually, it's so funny because I love this question because I really want to drive something home. All food is medicine. All food is meant to fuel the body. And I try to stay away from those things of like bad food versus good food. I try to stay away from the word cheap meals because it's like, I don't want people to shame themselves into like what they're eating. So if you look at all food like medicine, the first step is to really pay attention to what your body needs. So I know online, one of the things that was like on our Instagram account that got saved a lot was our like natural pain killers, like pain relievers, right? And so I wanted to so people talked about turmeric a lot. People love the fact that we talked about turmeric and it helping with inflammation. But what's something else that's really good? Pineapples. Pineapples are really, really good for inflammation. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't take into consideration that something like pineapples have a high glycemic index. Hopefully I'm saying that right. When we talk about like the glucose intake, or to simplify it, how much sugar you're putting in your body. Okay. We actually learned about that on like Healthy Bronx Bites with Mary when we went to Freshway. I asked him, why did you use green apple versus the red apple? Oh, yes, he used the green apple versus red apple. He goes, because the glycemic index. He goes, pineapple has such high levels of sugar. We don't want to add something that also has high level sugar like a red apple would. Right. And that was just that interview was so transformative to me because I'm like, no wonder if I make a smoothie and I'm using pineapple and I'm using a red apple, it tastes a lot more sugary than if I use a green apple. So looking at your food in that way. Another thing that I absolutely love, and I really been helping people with, I guess, is I've been making people relook at, you ever seen like, I don't know if you do this, but do you put like lemon in your water early in the morning?
Nah, I did it like once or twice, but I don't do
And
it.
what happened?
I don't know. I need to learn
You
how to
just gave up?
self-care. Yeah.
But like usually all like the health gurus, they're like, put lemon water first thing in the morning, get your metabolism going. Which is good because lemons have strong vitamin C, but it's also acidic. So one of my favorite foods to talk about healing, like healing the gut and healing the intestines, is lime. Lime is actually the most natural of citruses. Lemon is actually a hybrid. So we talk a lot about that in our future guides and things like that. But again, I don't want to overwhelm people. So I asked you that question, like, why? What was it like squeezing the lemon that like made it like you couldn't keep doing it? You're like, I can't do this. Or did you feel like it wasn't beneficial?
And no, I don't even know. I think I just have to learn how to self-care a little more. So, my questions are more, just to learn how to do it, because I know a lot of people struggle with that aspect. So even like drinking water, like I struggle with that often.
Right.
I do drink water only, like I don't drink soda or juice, but my water isn't always next to me. I often forget to drink a glass of water, and I need like phone reminders because life gets so busy, Mary. So it's like, how can we just take a pause and hydrate? Franchesca's telling me, my co-producer on the program, you often forget to hydrate. She reminds me to drink water.
Yeah. But I'm always, when I thought about my water journey, because I think that's one of the most essential things that anyone can do. A lot of reasons why I was suffering with migraines or fatigue, a lot of it had to do with my lack of water intake. When I think about why, I think you said it. It's because it's not accessible. Like investing, believe it or not, in glass jars that I have literally everywhere, that's my reminder. So if my phone isn't in my hand, because we have these things where we can walk around without our phones now, that is like my gentle reminder. And we talk a lot about that on like our new site and the things we're having. And also, if you don't like water, it's okay to be honest about that. Like, taking it slow and starting off with like, a seltzer water, adding some fruit to it, and then eventually, getting to a place where you just like love water. And when you start, what it is that we need to take time to slow down. When you start realizing how good you feel after drinking a lot of water, you're like, ooh, and my skin clear, I'm feeling good. It kind of like then like auto prompts you within your body to drink water. Like I know now, I can feel when I'm dehydrated.
I wish we had more time, Mary. I wanted to ask one more question, but we got to wrap up. I want to invite people though to follow you at your platform and, stay informed on all these important, all this information that you have and this wealth of knowledge that you have to give. So if you can provide your social media pages and all that good stuff, please do so.
Yes. So to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Maryvin Rose. And you can also follow our Healthy Living in the Bronx page at Healthy Living BXB. We also will have a website and we'll have a newsletter. So make sure you're following both Instagram accounts so you can sign up for that and be the first to know on all the newness that we have coming up in 2021.
Ooh, I'm so excited. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for coming on and joining us.
Yay! Thank you guys. Thank you, ladies.
Of course. Maryvin Rose is the founder of Healthy Living the Bronx and Beyond. And you can follow her again on HLBX on Instagram. It's at Healthy Living BXB. Stay in touch with her and you'll see all those updates that she just gave us today, all the wonderful updates. I know Mary's actually taking a spiritual break, which is also important. And maybe we'll have her come back on and talk about that. That's all for our show today. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, wishing you and your family safety and wellness now and always. Take care.